Hi everyone, my name is Anthony Wangila.
And I'm Innocent Masika Mabachi.
Welcome to the maiden episode on our Truth Be Told, the Kenyan Story YouTube channel. Today we'll be discussing the challenges that Kenya has been facing since independence. On 12th of December 1963, the Republic of Kenya became independent. That meant we could determine our own affairs. The founding president Mzee Jomo Kenyatta said, nchi ilikuwa na matatizo matatu makubwa. La kwanza ni ujinga, la pili ni umaskini, la tatu ni magonjwa. How comes 56 years after independence, nchi yetu bado inakumbana na matatizo haya? So in this first episode, first of the many to come, we'll be discussing these challenges that we still face as a country. Alafu mwishowe pia will give the views on how we can remedy the situation. Innocent, when did the rain start beating us as a country?
I think the Kenyan story is a sad story to start from there.
Yes.
And the rain started beating us a while ago. The rain started beating us when our leaders forgot that which they are supposed to do for the country. The rain started beating us when we forgot that there are those basics which the Kenyans need. The first thing we can talk about is food security. How can it be that in the 21st century, 55 years after independence, Kenyans are still dying of hunger? I mean, how complex is it to ensure that the country is food secure throughout the years? Don't we have the Minister for Agriculture in this country?
Yes.
And in that ministry, is part of the budget not allocated for him to ensure that the country is food secure? We don't need to go very far away.
Yes.
Recently, there were reports all over the media that our fellow Kenyans were dying in Turkana counties and those northeastern counties there. People are dying of hunger. And then it pains us that, okay, we don't want to, there are some things which we are supposed just to say, because we are supposed to say the truth. The deputy president, we love him so much, but if he comes forth together with his people who seem to be his sycophants, and then they say that the cause of the deaths in those regions is not because of hunger. You know, it pains me as a normal Kenyan, because it is obvious that there is drought on those sides. It is obvious that people are dying. You've seen because you've seen it on news. Even the leaders from that side, the MPs from that side have come forth acknowledging that people are dying. And then somebody who is not even a resident there comes forward saying that people are not dying of drought. What is the problem?
That one also makes me wonder, because I never know where Kenyan leaders borrowed the idea of denial. Anytime we have a problem, the government must deny. And they believe we can buy that idea. But far from it, the country still faces challenges when it comes to food security. My understanding of food security is that at all times, everyone and anyone has access to food. Access wherever they are, in the right quality, in the right quantity. And this food must also be nutritious. But the story of our country, as you said from the beginning, is a tragic one. How? I remember in 2011, when Kenyans came together under the ban of Kenyans for Kenya. I don't know if you remember.
I remember.
Kenyans were asked to contribute whatever they had to help their brothers and sisters in the northern part of the country who were starving to death. But this is a problem that occurs perennially.
It is really, so you wonder. Last year, we were in a similar situation.
We can even predict next year.
This year, we are in a similar situation. So, on that basis, we can predict what will happen next year. We'll again be lamenting seeing emaciated Kenyans in northeastern. And then again, those guys like, you know, I love Mike Movie Sonko. But okay, like this year, he had some donation to those guys. So, it is as if we use that situation, sad situation, to make our names big.
Exactly.
We are not saying that Mike Movie Song is making his name big.
They say one man's poison is another man's what? Meat.
Yeah.
They reverse it. Usually it's one man's meat is another man's poison, but another man's poison in this country is another man's meat.
Yeah, you see,
It's
so
an opportunity for someone to showcase their humanitarian side, to show that they are caring, but you know they are not. They do that in front of cameras to appeal to the masses that they're the most caring leaders in the country. But if they cared, why don't they put in sustainable measures to ensure that Kenyans do not starve to death?
Yeah. Most times they just do it to gain political mileage.
Yes.
But if they really do it from the bottom of their hearts, we appreciate that.
Exactly.
Because we need to be there for each other as Kenyans.
Exactly. And as part of the President Uhuru Kenyatta has the so-called Big Four agenda.
Yeah.
Food security actually features.
Yeah, it features among
this
the big
means
four.
our economy depends on agriculture.
Agriculture
is the backbone of our economy, which means actually, and it employs a very large percentage of Kenyans because they draw from it employment, they get food from it. So it means if the government were to succeed to ensure that this country is food secure and does not rely on food relief from other countries, we have to go beyond what we are doing right now. We have to mechanize agriculture, and we have to do irrigation. We have to provide our farmers with the best inputs.
Yeah. Speaking about
so that they can do it.
irrigation,
Yes.
I do not know the size of land which is under irrigation in this country, but I believe there is a lot of arable land which, if put to good use, then we can be sure that we be food secure come next year. But now it comes the issue about dams. You know, dams. Recently, I heard that the Treasury had budgeted some billions for construction of dams.
Yes.
As much as we respect and even admire the zeal that the government is doing to ensure that we build dams so that we can have more land under irrigation throughout the years.
Yes.
But I have some fear deep inside me. Having seen the first stage of building dams, the way it was carried down, the way it was done, the money that we are not even sure if the money is there or not. We are not even sure what is the amount of this money because you are disputing about the amount of the money. So if I hear that the Treasury has budgeted again for the construction of dams, I just pray to the Almighty God that God, may you appear in the dreams or in any way to our leaders, that they may know that the reason we chose them is that they do that which is in the best interest of Kenyans, not in their best interest.
Exactly. I've never stopped wondering why in Kenya every project must have controversy. Every project must have controversy. Even if it's about buying a pen, it must be controversial. About irrigation, the government had an ambitious program in Tana River County called the Galana Gulalu, where they said they will put around 10,000 acres of land under irrigation. It was actually 1 million acres, if I'm not wrong. But since then, only 10,000 bags of maize that have been harvested from this project. It's a very big project.
It's a white elephant.
It
turned out to be a white elephant.
It turned out to be a white elephant because we are not getting what we invested in the project. So this one makes me worry and makes me hopeless when the government again says we want to construct more dams to initiate irrigation projects around the country.
And so, you know, speaking for the common Kenyan, you know, we are common Kenyans.
Exactly.
The washman, the commercial cleaners, the Kenyans who work in the Jua Kali sector. And you know one thing about the Jua Kali sector. I don't know who came up with that name. But I like it because Jua Kali, it speaks out the condition of the working condition that most Kenyans go in the Jua Kali sector. And the Jua Kali sector is among the, it is in fact the sector where most Kenyans work. In fact, 77.9% of Kenyans work in the largest number. Most Kenyans work in the informal sector. But for a very long time, this sector has not been incentivized to attract Kenyans, of which most are working there, yes, but the conditions under which they are working is difficult. Low returns that make them to gamble with issues such as health. Because if I earn, let's say, 2,000 or 4,000 in a month, and it happens that I fall sick, I go to the hospital, and then I'm told medical checkup is 5,000 shillings. That is just medical checkup, just talking to the doctor. Hatujiweka malipo ya dawa na vitu zingine. So in such a situation, I'll think, do I spare this 500 and feed my family and pay fees for my child who just joined kindergarten? Do I spare this 500 shillings and save and at least be sure that I'll pay fees for my daughter who is joining Form 1 next year probably? If I'm sick, I'll gamble. I'll go ahead to gamble with my health, because there's no need to spend money. Yet my family will get stagnated along the way. So Kenyans in the informal sector are a suffering lot, and we just pray that the government thinks about them. At least the government think about Kenyans.
Think about Kenyans.
Yeah.
That one brings me to the other topic: issues of healthcare in the country.
Yes.
Diseases. Kenyans are still grappling with diseases, from non-communicable diseases to other diseases. 56 years since independence, there's a Kenyan child who loses their life to malaria. Malaria is a major killer in the country, not to mention other serious diseases such as cancer and HIV and AIDS. A friend of mine told me, if you are Kenyan, it's not a good idea to fall sick.
Yeah.
It's the worst idea you can ever imagine. Because
as if you can decide.
Yeah, that is a sure way of dying.
Yeah.
If you are poor in this country, it is not such a bright idea to say you're sick. Because if you have to go to the hospital, first, the payments, they are scary to the common man on the street. Because yeah, as you said, you have to pay the consultation fees. Yeah. If you are admitted, that's even a larger burden. Many families find it hard footing medical bills, and most times they are forced to even sell their land, livestock, so that they can get their families out of hospitals. Yeah. And I know these places are strained on many Kenyan families. Yeah.
Speaking about health, one thing that I can maybe share with my fellow Kenyans is that it's good to subscribe to NHIF. NHIF. It is good because sometimes health expenditure can be so high that it can siphon your entire account and leave you zero. But maybe to a very common Kenyan, it is a bit expensive, but at least we hope for the best. But one thing that I have about the Kenyan health sector is that why is it that these politicians do not have faith in the local health
faith
system?
Is zero.
Yeah.
In the system. Yeah.
Because averagely, if we try to take our minds back and just try to see these leaders whom we've been hearing, so and so is sick, he's been taken to, mostly it is South Africa, he's been flown to the UK, he's been flown to which country?
India.
And India. Yeah. And in most cases, you find that Kenyans are still flying to India to seek advanced medical care. 55 years down the line, what went wrong? Why can't a Kenyan politician seek treatment here in Kenya? Don't we have faith in the doctors that we train? What is the problem? Is it the kind of training which they undergo through? And if the issue is the training, can't we just benchmark with the nations which are a bit advanced in matters to do with health, so that we can make the Kenyan healthcare a bit trusted by the Kenyan leaders? Because it cannot be that today you're okay, tomorrow you just catch a cold, you feel like going to the UK to seek treatment. That can be treated here in Kenya.
Exactly, I agree with you. And the issue of people flying outside the country to go for better medical care outside, there's a term that has come up, it's called medical tourism. So Kenyans are actually medical tourists in foreign countries, trying to seek treatment for ailments such as cancer. which can also be treated here if the leaders meant what they said. Anyway, we have to appreciate what the government is doing. I know the launch of the Universal Healthcare Program, UHC, by the president in the 4
it was really timely.
Yeah, it's really timely in the 4 counties of Kisumu, Nyeri, Machakos, and Isiolo, if I'm not wrong. It is it is so promising for majority of Kenyans who do not afford such services. So if it is implemented throughout the country, I'm sure many Kenyan families will have a huge burden taken off their backs.
Yeah, I think it is good to give credit where it is due.
Yeah,
what you said.
we have to.
And we appreciate the government's effort, especially in the fight against cancer.
Yes.
Of course, we are hearing stories that they are trying to bring in new technology which can help curb cancer in the early stages. And then we are also coming. We are also seeing campaigns that mothers and those, in short, those Kenyans who are highly susceptible to cancer, they're being advised to seek a medical checkup early, so that we fight the symptoms. So that we fight the cancer early enough than wait to see the symptoms when it's at later stages, which we have reached a point of no return.
That one also brings us to the last topic, the issue of literacy. Are Kenyans literate? Can Kenyans read and write? Statistics show that around 84% of the population in Kenya, people can read and write their names. But there are also gaps existing between men and women who can read and write. Men can read and write more than women can read and write. And I know this is part of it's our tradition. For a very long time, women were not seen as fitting to go to school, and that has also a very high price to pay.
I think the issue about women, not the women comparable to men, the percentage being a bit low, it is an issue which has bedeviled this country for quite some good time. And it is purely an African problem, I think, because if you go to other countries, women are a bit empowered comparable to here in Kenya. But recently we have witnessed a new surge of women who are coming up. Because there are women who are heads of big influential institutions in the country. So we appreciate that, and we hope that many women outside there and our sisters will come forth and believe that they are not children of a lesser God, that we are all children of the same God. And therefore they believe in themselves, so that we see many enrollments and transition to training colleges, especially in the STEM, science courses, where we have men are the dominant people there. In doing so, I think we'll be headed to the right direction as a country.
Exactly. Well, I remember when President Mwai Kibaki took over government, he initiated free primary education, and that's so many children go to school because they could not pay all these fees that were there before. So that one has increased primary enrollment, even transition to secondary school and all that. We also recognize the improvement in the change in the curriculum in the country from 844 to 2663.
I think talking about the sense in which the 844 system was so much exam oriented. Take the example of this scenario. I've been in school for 4 good years. And then it happens that the period when I'm supposed to do the national examination, I fall sick. And then in some manner, I'm not able to deliver the content which I have in my mind, of which if I was just okay, I could just do it very well. So that period only determines my fate, because basing on the results, the end results, you'll either join university or not, or you'll join the tertiary and other VTTCs or not. So I think the new system, I think it will be better, because it is not that exam oriented.
It's about developing the talents of the children and identifying, nurturing those talents.
Focusing on the talents rather than just that instant session of doing the examination.
Exactly. So about the 844, it is in some way it was a punishment. It's a punishing. to learners, because all you've learned in 8 years is tested in
2 hours.
2 hours.
Yes,
So
imagine that.
maybe that day I'll be having a bad day and I will not perform well, but I'll be seen as a failure. So 2663 actually promises to give hope to our children.
We are the product of 844.
844, but we are glad we are here.
We are glad we are here.
So if the new curriculum is implemented in the best way possible, bringing on board all stakeholders, I'm sure it's going to do wonders for our children, who must also compete with other children worldwide.
Yeah, true. And then talking about education, you know, the Kenyan teachers, every year we encounter strikes.
In that
I think this year we can also have, we might also be having one.
Yeah, exactly.
So the Kenyan teacher needs to be looked after, because it is because of their effort that some of us are here.
All of us have
because
actually
of
gone through
the teachers' effort that the politicians are there. It's because of the teachers' efforts that the society looks as it is.
Exactly.
So the teachers need to be looked after, and their needs to be catered for in a good manner.
Okay, so those are the problems we've been talking about.
Yeah.
Probably we have solutions which you can suggest.
Going forward, what do we need to do?
What do we need to do about food security? What can be done to remedy the situation? How can we make sure that this country is food secure?
I think talking about food security, of course, the first thing, we need to come up with the ways of harvesting food throughout the year. We don't need to rely on, we don't need to wait for God to send rain. Of course, we receive rain from God, but when there is no rain, we need to continue harvesting. So, number one, irrigation. We need to put more land under irrigation. And this can be done by the construction of dams. And we hope that this construction of dams will not be followed by controversy and shenanigans and such. We just hope that the money channel for dams will be used solely for that purpose. If we put more land to irrigation, then going forward will be easy. Maybe on agriculture.
The government should also make sure that inputs such as seeds and fertilizers and even extension services are available to the people. This must be done with the urgency that it deserves. Moreover, Kenyans must also diversify how they do the agriculture. You must not rely on one crop for the entire year. Even the eating habits have to change.
Yeah, we are just used to ugali.
You have to change eating habits.
If we don't have maize this year, we are crying. We don't have food next year. So I don't know if you can have something else besides ugali. It could be better.
I like the way Kenyans also embracing the agriculture, growing actually avocados and even macadamia. They also help. As we also know, some industries are collapsing, like Amomia Sugar Company, they're actually on their deathbed. So these affect so many people. So we also ask the government that all that can be done to actually rescue these industries from collapsing must be done.
And then, how can we get more funds to invest more in food security? The current wage bill is, I think, way beyond 580 billion Kenyan shillings.
Actually, 50% of the total revenue is used on.
We are spending too much money in paying salaries in this country, and we need to slice off some positions, which I think there is a bit of redundancy of work, because saying the truth, in a ministry, why have the cabinet secretary, the permanent secretary, the chief administrative secretary? I mean, what new duties came up that called for the introduction of this new position? So we just need to have a lean government with people who have their duties well laid out, instead of having so many guys, yet the work to be done is so small. Going to the parliament, the two houses. Do we need all the two houses?
Those are questions that Kenyans must ask.
We need to ask those questions. Do we need the senator, for instance?
Do we need the women rep?
Do we need the women rep? Do we need special interest representatives? Can just one person represent the concerns of all these groups? Those are the pertinent questions that we need to ask going forward.
Exactly. When it comes to health, the challenges that bedevil the sector are so many. But we understand that Kenya produces some of the best doctors in the whole world. It's called brain drain. Our doctors flying out the country to go and work in other places. So we also think the government should ensure that we have enough personnel in the health sector and make sure that the drugs are also stored, hospitals are stocked, and these industrial strikes must always be contained before they happen. I'm sure this will help so many Kenyans to have a life that is without so many problems. Moreover, they should also enroll for NHIF, as you say. The National Health Insurance Fund also helps them so that during times of emergencies and all that, they do not have to sell their only cow.
The only cow in goats.
They take care.
This is one thing which I need to bring in before we conclude. There's been a talk about the referendum. So the questions which we need to pose is like, what is the purpose of this referendum that many politicians are fighting for it? If the referendum is about addressing the Kenyan issues, then it's okay. If the referendum is about reducing the number of counties, it is okay. If the referendum is about cutting down on the over-representation of Kenyans, it is okay. But if the referendum is for other personal issues, then let it be.
If the referendum is about creating positions for other individuals,
let it be.
It should not be brought to the table for discussion. About literacy, we urge the government to continue investing in the education sector.
True.
The teacher shortage is very huge in this country. We have a shortage of around 70,000 teachers that must be employed on a yearly basis. So if this is done, I'm sure schools will have enough teachers so that our children also learn under conducive environment. Infrastructure in schools is also one thing. It must be taken care of. Yes.
That's it. 5 years down the line, the Kenyan story is still a sad story. But we appreciate the effort that has been taken by the government to bring us to where we are this moment. What are your views as our viewer? Please let us keep each other engaged. Give us your comments and we respond to them accordingly.
Thank you very much for taking time to watch this episode, and we look forward to more engagement next week.
Asante.
Asanteni sana.